Hi everyone, welcome to Sugar Glider Diaries. I'm Kimberly and this is my husband Michael. And this is another episode of Ask the Experts, where we answer your Sugar Glider questions to the best of our ability. Even though we're not really experts, we just do our best. And sometimes we consult Google. All right, so if you want to ask a question on our next episode of Ask the Experts, just comment below, make sure you say what your name is and what state you live in so that we can acknowledge that when we ask your question. Theme song. Sugar, sugar.
Glide, glide. Sugar, sugar.
Glide, glide.
The experts.
Shannon from Michigan.
Hey, Michigan. I know it's really cold in Michigan, probably this time of year.
She actually has a little freezing cold emoji face when she says Michigan. So, Shannon from Michigan wants to know what is considered a normal weight for a male glider and a female glider?
All right. The reason I'm laughing is because just right off the bat, you said, what's normal weight? I would think, it's easy, 2 pounds. That would be severely, like, beyond large sugar gliders. I'd be like,
2 pounds?
That's what I just first wanted to say was 2 pounds. But I know it goes in ounces. I just want to say 6 ounces is like a super duper healthy glider.
For super duper healthy boy glider or girl glider?
Boy glider.
6 ounces, and for a girl?
4.
4 ounces.
4 ounces. Well, you always keep track of.
And I know, I keep track of the gliders' weights all the time. So, but I just get put on the spot. I know stuff, and then as soon as I ask the question, it just like goes out of my head. Okay, before I consult Google, the girls are like 70 some grams, like 75, but I think they're really supposed to be more like 80 or 90. And so I think the girl range is like 90 or 80 to like 120, 130. And I think the boy range is like 90 to 150, 160.
So if it converts over to like ounces, I wonder what grams going to ounces like about.
Oh, sure, okay, yeah. Let me go grab my little weight chart because I have it written down what the normal thing is, and then we'll see if your conversions work.
Oh no, she left me. I don't know what to do.
Okay, so what I do for my gliders for weighing them, I have a little chart that I've made, and for a male, the healthy weight is 100 to 160. So that was pretty close to what I said. And a female is 80 to 130 grams. So for those of you who aren't really in a habit of weighing their gliders, if you ever bring your glider to the vet, that's gonna be one of their first questions is, have they lost weight recently? When I do my sugar gliders nail trims, like every week or 10 days, I use a food scale. I actually have it in my little nail trimming kit. So I just grab this whole thing when it's nail trimming time, and that way I remember, and I put them in the nail trimming bag, and then I tear the scale, and then I just weigh them, and then I trim their nails. So yeah, anyway, I really like doing that. That was actually a tip from Alex in Wonderland, and I like it. Okay, so yes, you can convert grams to ounces, obviously. Yeah. I knew that. I never questioned it. 1 ounce is 28.34 grams. So you said for a boy.
6, I think.
6? Well, you weren't super off. 6 ounces would be 170 grams. And the top range for a boy is 160 grams.
Nice.
And then you said, what for a girl?
4.
4 ounces?
4 ounces.
That's actually like a medium, like the medium healthy range. So, I mean.
Nice. All right.
Pretty much, you were right. Okay, so next question.
Next question.
Jennifer says, how many teeth do sugar gliders have?
That's a really good one. I mean, just right out of the gates, I just want to say they have 2 teeth, which doesn't make any sense because then they'd be like a little. That would be terrible because all your food would go off at the sides and you just have to eat pudding and jello all the time. So that's totally wrong. They'd be just like, nah.
However, you know that that's not true.
I know it's not true. It's just
So if you had to, now that you're thinking about it, if you had to actually guess.
8 teeth.
I don't actually know the answer, but I know it's more than 8 because they have 2 teeth on the top and 2 teeth on the bottom that are big. That's why Pika's tongue sticks out, because she lost one of her big ones. And the bottom ones, when they're eating, they go like in and out. I'm gonna have to Google it. But then they have a bunch of other small ones, you know, so they have like a full mouth of teeth, but the big ones that you really see are the top and the bottom. So let's Google it.
They have 2 teeth.
2.
They're little personal can openers.
Okay, so this person says, this is just like a forum, and it says they believe they have 40 teeth. Most of them are tiny, obviously. I don't know if 40 is actually the right number, but without spending a lot of time, rodents, you know, their teeth constantly grow. That's why they're constantly need to chew. But gliders' teeth don't constantly grow, and they don't need to be trimmed or chew on something to wear their teeth down. So if you go to a vet and they say they need to trim your glider's teeth, go to a different vet, because they obviously don't know anything about gliders. Okay, so basically they have a mouthful. They have a lot. Michelle from Washington State says that we are both so fun and she enjoys our videos. And her question is, how much of your time do sugar gliders require each day?
Honestly, I would say as much time as you can, because the more time you spend with them, then the more they'll become attached to you, and then they'll bond with you more. You can look all into the bonding bag. They'll put the description at the bottom of the little box thing.
Oh, will you?
Sorry, I was wanting to say that. I still jacked it up. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the more time you spend, then they'll be more bonded with you. I mean, if you have a glider, you don't spend time with it. You just give it the crummy food, and I mean, they just can always be just not happy. They'll be crabbing all the time, and they'll just never feel. They'll just feel like you're a stranger all the time. Obviously, the more time you spend with them, then they'll be more attached to you. So yeah, you want to spend as much time as you can if you're able to.
Yeah, they're creatures of habit for sure. So if they're well socialized, you don't have to, like if you go like a day or 2 without being with them, it's not gonna completely change their personality. But if you do that consistently and you hardly ever spend time with them, then they are going to get used to being alone and less used to people, and so they're going to be more skittish and just less social. If you had to say, because that question was actually how much of your time do sugar gliders require each day? Like if you had to say like an average amount of time that I spend on or with my gliders, what would you say?
You spend like a lot of time though, because you always put them in a little bonding bag and you always have them on your shirt. Even, I mean, when I come home, I'll go to like give her a hug or something, you know, just show her some love, and I'm like, wait, are they in there?
Are the babies in there?
Are the babies in there? And she's like, yeah. So then I can't really like embrace her because I don't want to squish the children. So it's like I'm always just like, are they in there? I mean, she always, it's like a natural question, like, do you have them on you? Because she has them on them so much. I mean, all the time. She has as much as she can on her, so. Yeah,
it's hard because it's like if you counted the amount of time that you have them in a bonding bag or like in your shirt or whatever, that would sound like a lot of time. Like if you said, oh, I spend 6 hours a day or 8 hours a day or whatever with my gliders, that sounds like a lot of work. But really, it's just you having them on you. But besides that, like besides prepping their food and that kind of thing, I haven't really spent a lot of time with them. So I don't know, that's a very hard question to answer.
It's pretty cool though, because I mean, yeah, when she opens up the cage, I mean, if they hear her voice, they'll just like come to her, you know, and they get all excited and just want to be on her. Like she put her arm out there and they jump on her and
come to me, my jungle friends.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Come to me, jungle friend.
For me, it's like they'll get on me just to go take a dump or like pee or something, and they jump back on her. It's like, yeah, that's great, man. I made contact. All right. Yeah. So
do not go in there. Woo!
Yeah, you can tell the time. The more time you can spend with them, the better.
Yeah. Kim Chrisman says that she loves these videos. She's going to watch them with her husband and then pause them to hear his answers.
Nice.
So that's a fun game to play with your spouse.
We used to do that with, there's a show we used to watch that was called Chopped. And they give you like certain ingredients, or food. Like, here, get me 3 things and you have to make something. You know, you got 30 minutes go, and then we'd be like, hey, you know, what would you make? What would you make? Like, oh, I just throw some Spam on a pan and then put some chocolate Hershey syrup on it and then put a cherry on the top and then call it a afternoon delight. what would you do? And then, you know, we'd do that stuff and we'd actually see what they did. And we're like, wow, that's why we're not on the show and we're not successful baker, chef people.
We're not chefs.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was fun.
Anyways, that's cool.
So Sugar Glider Mammy from Florida, she says she was born and raised in Florida. She has 4 gliders and recently met someone with 2 gliders. How should we go about this and introduce them as friends?
So you have to be in a really controlled environment, like a bathtub. Not the ones with the jets, you know, like, but like just a regular bathtub, and then just throw like a handful of like the little sprinkles for the cupcakes in there, and then put them in there, and they'll be like looking around like, wow, look at all the sprinkles, and they'll kind of bump into each other and go, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, hey, nice to meet you. Like, look at sprinkles, and they'll be eating the little sprinkles, having a good time, and they'll kind of bump into each other like, hey, how's it going? And they'll just kind of forget about the whole skittish thing, and they'll be friends. That's
Cupcake sprinkles?
That's my initial, like, out of the gate answer.
But you can't do that if you have a bathtub that has jets.
Yeah, because the sprinkles could get inside the jet holes and then it could be really bad later. Dessert.
Do you put water in this bathtub?
No.
Okay.
Because then later on, then the sprinkles that are in the jets, they like solidify, and then when the actual jets come on when you're taking a bath, and all of a sudden like this dye gets shot in the bathtub, you're like, oh my gosh, like did I sit on a Smurf? Like why is there blue and others red? No, that's my first out of the mind thought, which is really weird.
Great.
I'd love to hear your answer now because I'm just drowning over here. I do like my sprinkle thought though.
Yeah.
Of course they couldn't be sprinkles because they'd probably get them sick. So
yeah, don't give your Sugar Gliders cupcake sprinkles. But white chocolate chips with no cocoa would be fine. Like the baking morsels, I think is probably what maybe you were thinking. Although you did clarify sprinkles quite a few times with coloring and food dyes and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, don't do that. So actually I think this is interesting because I don't know that what she is saying is how would I introduce 2 gliders with my 4 gliders. I think what she is actually asking is, I have a friend that has 2 gliders and I have 4 gliders. Can we make them friends and like they can have play dates?
Oh.
Not that they're actually introducing. And I do have a whole other video on introductions. Not that you need to watch it because clearly he just gave you the perfect guidance for introducing. But I'll link that in the description box below if you want to check out how to actually introduce gliders to each other, if these are gliders that are going to stay with you, like these are part of your glider family. But what do you think about the idea of having like glider friends?
Like play dates?
Like play dates, that they don't live together, they just get together and play.
It seems like if you did it pretty regularly, then it seems like it could work out, but if you didn't do it, but so often they kind of forget who they are. And
I don't know if I would recommend that because I feel like, no, I don't know, this is just my personal opinion, but I think that because gliders are colony animals and they're so social. It just says it has been stopped automatically. Sorry, I had to fix the camera. So anyway, what I was saying is that I don't know if I'd recommend that because what I would be afraid of is they would get attached to each other and then you'd separate them and then they would be like upset because their new friend is gone. Like they wouldn't understand. Because like in the wild, I don't think they have glider friends that are not part of their colony. So now this is, like I said, this is just my logic and my thinking. If someone else knows something more than I do about this, please let me know. But the way I understand it is that in the wild, they have colonies. So they have like tribes. And they have, you know, X number of gliders in their tribe. And then they might have a neighboring colony, but they don't intermix. So it's not like the neighbor friends are gonna come over and play with them and then go back to their colony. Like they're very tribal and like territorial. So I think it would go against their nature to have a friend that visits but doesn't actually stay in their tribe. If the question, if I'm understanding it correctly, and you're asking if this friend of yours and you guys get together and you could do like get the gliders together and play, like do like a tent time all together, I don't know that that would be it. I wouldn't personally recommend it. I don't know that that would be necessarily harmful, but I think it could be confusing and it could potentially mess with like the dynamic in your colony. I don't know. I think that could be confusing to them personally. But I mean, you can definitely get together with a friend that has gliders and they have their gliders on them and you have your gliders on you. You might actually notice that your gliders are very curious because they might be able to smell them. And I think that's totally fine as long as they don't actually meet face to face. You know what I'm saying? Picking up what I'm putting down?
Totally.
Okay. Alrighty.
Alrighty then.
Boy, we got a lot of questions. Ooh, okay. This will be our last question for this video, I think. So I don't know what this person's name is, but they are from Slovakia.
Cool.
Yeah. So they want to know what they should do if their sugar glider is running away from them.
If they're running away from you?
Mm-hmm. So I guess there's two different kinds of running away. You're wondering if they mean like running from you while they're in the cage, or running from you like you have them out of the cage and they're like jumping off of you and running away. So I guess those are kind of two different things.
Yeah.
Let's assume that this person is saying that they have them out and they try to have them on them, but they jump off and run away. What would you do?
I know usually when you have them on you, you keep walking around to keep them stimulated. Like if you just kind of stand in the same spot for a long time, they're gonna get kind of like, hey, look, there's a wall. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. But yeah, I mean, I know with Kimberly, like she'll keep walking around with them, and it's super funny because with Pika, like she climbs up on her head, so she can like be at the highest point. It reminds me of like meerkats. They're just like always looking out and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I'll have you know I have the reflexes of a cat and the speed of a mongoose.
she has to be on top of her head. But yeah, I mean, if you just keep walking around, and they're just like whoa, look at that, that's amazing. So I know the chance of them jumping off a lot lower. It seems like if you keep walking around, keeping them stimulated.
Yeah, keeping them stimulated, it's not so much the stimulation, it's that they can't get a target. So they won't just, unless they're super scared, they won't just leap if they don't know where, if they're not confident that they can land somewhere. So if you're constantly moving and then you're putting your hand in front of their face so they can't get a good target, then they're a lot less likely to jump off. So what if you have your glider out and they do jump off of you? How do you get them back?
Sprinkles. I know a few times yours have launched off and hit the wall and hit the floor, and you just pick them up because they're kind of like, by the time they hit the ground, they're pretty stunned, like, what just happened? What just happened? It seems like most of the time you want to be in a place that's not too, I mean, you wouldn't want to go outside with them or something, but if you were kind of in a room that's like, if they did hit the ground, you could get them. It wasn't, obviously you don't want to be in the same room when you have cats or something like that if you have one on you. It seems like if you went in the bathroom, you know, and had the door closed and like there's not a whole lot of stuff in there, and you just make sure the toilet's seats down. It should be anyways, especially if you're married. But bathroom's a great place to start out. So I know most of the time when you walk around with yours, you don't really think they're just gonna launch off and just take off because they're so, I mean, they're pretty bonded to you and they're pretty attached.
Well, and I don't do it for a long time. Like Stella Luna, I'll walk around the house for quite a long time because she's my most bonded, but Balky and Pika, I mean, I don't do it for more than a few minutes. So, because we're still kind of like easing our way up, and I don't want to stress them out. Like, I want it to be a positive experience. I think if they launch off of you, like I said, sometimes they are kind of stunned. Like, they're kind of like, whoa, I didn't expect to not land where I thought I was gonna land. So you can just scoop them up. If you have your bonding mitt, that helps a lot because they don't get as freaked out about you grabbing them with their hand. It looks like a mouth. But if you have like a shirt or a towel or like a big piece of fleece, you can plop that on them and then scoop them up that way because it's less intimidating than a hand. When I have had my gliders get loose in the house before, so Balky actually was under the couch for quite a while. I was trying to handle him and he got out of my hands and out of my presence or whatever. I don't know what I was trying to say there. He got away from me and he got under the couch. And when I would go to one side of the couch, he'd run over to the other side of the couch, and then I'd go over to the other side of the couch and he'd run over to the other side of the couch, underneath the couch. So what I ended up doing is taking his sleeping pouch, and then I had like a trail of treats, and then I had like just a trail. So then I waited until he would eat one treat, and then he'd see the other one, and he'd eat another treat, and then I had another one, a treat that was actually in the bag, and then when he went in the bag, then I grabbed him. So
ooh, piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
But you don't try to grab them when they get to the first treat. Like, let them actually get to the treat in the bag before you try to get them. And that's like if they're not bonded to you. If they're bonded to you and they're not really afraid of you, then just like don't freak out, just be patient. Like, they're not really running from you, they're probably just exploring. So they'll come to you eventually. Just keep an eye on them so you know where they're at.
That's a great answer, because I'd be like, oh my gosh, the glider's loose, pull the fire alarm, call 911. Get everybody on the search and rescue for the house.
That's how I felt when I first had my gliders though. Like, you know, they're very small and they're very fast, and you do kind of think like, oh my gosh, like what if they, you know, get in this spot and I can't get them out. Like, if they do get in a spot and you can't get them out, as long as you know where they are, like you can keep an eye on that. It's not like they're gonna just disappear. But if they did get like just loose in the house and I had no idea where they were, I would panic. That would be very overwhelming for me.
If I have to tear this universe another black hole, I'm going to find it. I got to, mister!
Or you could get like a sugar glider shop vac. It's just for sugar gliders. So you pop off the top, and on the inside of the big shop vac, shop vac, you like line it with, you line the inside with padding, and you have like a big pillow on the bottom. And then basically when they get loose under the couch and you can't really get them, you freak out like I would. Grab the shop vac, turn it on, but it's just for sugar gliders. Stick it on the couch and punk, they get sucked up in there. But usually when you suck up stuff with a shop vac and you hear it go tank tank, it goes smacking around there and then hit the bottom of the shop vac. You have it all laced with foam, and a big old pillow at the bottom, so you suck it up and go punk, and it go poop poop, and then you shut it off really fast and then pop it open like, hey, surprise, I got it. And you have your little bonding mitt, like Velcro to the sides, you pop it off and you get it on there, and then whoop.
No, you scare me.
I'm gonna put the shop vac sugar glider set up at the bottom of the description page. Nobody ever do that.
Don't actually do that, please. He was joking.
Totally joking. That just sounds awesome.
You could very easily injure your glider that way.
Call it the Glider 2000 or something.
All right, well, on that note, we'll be patent pending on our glider shop vac. Man, I'm gonna get some Karen in the comments like,
I can't believe that you and Eden suggest that you could suck up a precious glider in his shop vac.
That's like,
I am unsubscribing.
I know you're joking,
Totally joking.
but obviously the sucking them up part might hurt them.
Well, when you get a guy on the show, a lot of guys just like to build and modify stuff. Like, my whole motto is everything should be modified, like everything. So that's my 2 cents for the Glider 2000.
All right, stay tuned for Michael's Everything Should Be Modified channel, where we get sued all the time. And it's all for Karens to get mad at.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, make sure you ask your question in the comments of this video, and we will be with you again soon.
Tell me what you think about the Glider 2000X.
Or don't.
Or don't.
The experts. Bye, guys.
See you later. I think so.
I feel like an old lady. Like, that one, God? Can't see. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sugar Glider Diaries, and this is another I'm gonna do the air quotes.
Oh.
Sugar, sugar.
Glide, glide.
Sugar, sugar. No, I messed up.
Yeah.
Dang it. All right. Okay.
You do it.
I'm doing it.
Questions?
Questions?
Really awkward and stuff.
I'll edit this part out.
Very interesting though. Yesterday I was working and it was super cold. It was like supposed to be like -20 with the wind chill. And my door doesn't latch on my forklift that I have to drive, so it keeps opening and closing. And I was just thinking it'd be really nice to be a sugar glider right now, being in a little pouch all nice and warm and snuggly. But no! My door wouldn't latch, and I was driving around trying to put stuff where it's supposed to go at a lumber yard, and it was cold.
Telling them a nice little story while I was gone?
Nope.
Okay. And so what I do when I what I'm good at deflecting of the question.
Thank you.
She says she has 4 gliders and recent, gosh, I'm having a hard time today.
Have a little cool little fuzzy bonding mitt. Put that in the description box below. Sorry, I did it again.